Hi everyone, hope you're well. I'm here with my two beautiful girls, Teazel on my left and Evie on my right, both of them a bit too low to see. There she is. I wanted to make this video because of this amazing horse on my left, Teazel. Teazel came into my life 7 years ago on the 17th of January, and she likes the camera. No, don't knock it over, good girl. And that's the day I first met her. So we have been on a hell of a journey together. She's taught me so much, this horse, but also we've been on quite a healing journey for her as well, especially in the last 2 years. Yes, so where was I? So yeah, healing journey. Tease was lame for about 2 years intermittently. There were times she was fine and there were times she was not. But from about October 2020 until July 21, she was lame. And so at the end of 2020, I was desperately looking for solutions, ideas, how can I help this horse? And I had it quite in my brain that if I couldn't ride her, Teazel just switched the camera off. Okay, so now I don't know where I was at, but healing journey with this horse, 2 years. I'd got to the point where I thought, well, if I can't ride her, I can't ride her. She's going nowhere. She's, with me for life. And obviously I really enjoy riding her, but I knew that wasn't the be all and end all. So, I went looking for answers. And not long ago, I put a post up about asking for help. And when I actually started thinking about it, I'm quite happy to ask for help, because I don't know. And there's 7 people that I've been in touch with who've helped me with Teazel, most of them communicating with her in one way or another. And so this video is about a lady called Suze Kenington who lives in New Zealand. And I met Suze through a group we were both on. And what drew me to her, she comes from a science background, and she described her work so brilliantly that the minute I heard that description, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to get in touch with this lady. And so that's what I did. So Suze has understandably a system to find out what questions people want to ask. And I duly filled them in. As I was filling them in, I thought, not too sure what Teazel's going to make of this, but, I'll follow protocol and do as required. So that's what I did. Yes, so Suze came back to me. This was August last year, and Teazel was still in rehab then. So she was away from rehab from April through till September in 2021. And she came back to me at the end of September. So she was still in rehab when I had this done. So I asked some questions about it. And in fact, I've got them written down, which I've no doubt these two will be very interested to have a look at. Yes, I love you both. Okay, so the questions I asked, which as I said, as I asked them, I did wonder, was, do you want to read it? Yeah, okay. Do you feel your body is healing? Are you getting everything you need to aid your healing? Are you okay with the treatments you're receiving? And I mean, she was having amazing treatments down there, Emmett and goodness knows what. Are you okay with the remote treatments you've been having? Because I've worked with amazing Pat Cleveland over in Canada, which I think really helped her. Are you happy at the rehab centre? Is anything you'd like changed? Are you okay with me only being able to visit once a week? And then various thoughts to me, and other people have mentioned about her having a foal. So I asked the question, would you like to have a foal? And then the final question was, is there anything you'd like to say about my work? So those were the questions. And as I said, I did wonder what she'd answer. But I was quite happy, to go with the protocol. Anyway, what follows is the audio that Sue sent me, which was the overview of what Teazel had said. We had a long conversation about the answers, but that Teazel had given. But I asked her if she'd do an overview as an audio, which she very kindly did. So what you're going to listen to next is that audio. And then after that, I'll be back with my thoughts on what Teazel actually answered to these questions. So see you in a minute if I don't get eaten alive here. Bye.
Hi, Kathy. It's Suze here. Here is a transcript of what Teazel shared during our communication session. As we first connected, initially she had a massive energy presence. It was hard to distinguish where her Teazelness stopped and the rest of the world started. In fact, as I came into the session, I didn't even know which bit of her I was addressing. Often I see a whole horse, but she was just a very large energy field. She then began to oscillate between being this massive energy field and a tiny self, and then back to the huge field, back and forth, back and forth. I took from this that she was trying to tell me that she knew she was a horse, but she had another awareness of herself as well. So I asked her, do you have an expanded self-awareness? And there was an immediate yes. She was checking me out for a little while, which is fairly typical. Horses especially tend to want to see who they're communicating with and whether they feel comfortable in their energetic presence. She then paused and said the words, you know. And from here, I took this to know about connectedness, that we are all part of this massive energy field, almost like nodes, or sometimes I think of it as fairy lights strung together by this massive web of connectedness. And the energy we are all in is shared, and we're all part of all that is. She then said, let me show you my world, and turned towards her immediate surroundings where there was a paddock and trees and expansive vista of rural beautifulness. And within that, she took my attention to showing that everything was shimmering and everything was moving. And this shimmering energy field was what formed all that she was looking out on. Nothing was static. It was all in a state of flux. Then my mind came and pictured you, and she immediately said she knows too. So again, this recognition that you're looking beyond just the seen energies of your physical body to know that there is an energetic essence to you, and that is the energy that connects everybody and everything. She then, I went to go and ask the questions, and I got the impression that she's not overly interested in her physicality. She sees herself as so much more than that. She finds her physical being not particularly compelling and is not really focused on it. She's much more interested in how vastly expansive she is. I then said, is there anything that can help? Is there anything that you're seeking? And she did then say, I need to spend more time there, referencing her physicality. That's not something that we can do. Maybe we can through body work, or having her be aware of her physical structure, but it felt like more something that she was recognizing for herself. I asked her, what stops you? And she said, oh, it's not all that I am. So it's kind of, yes, I have a body, but I am not a body. And therefore, again, came through that message about not being particularly attached to it. And I then asked, is there anything that she would have you know? Because it seemed at this point that really your questions about being happy in her surroundings and her rehab treatments weren't a huge feature of what she considers important in life. She did answer about whether she was happy where she was, and she said it had a good energetic atmosphere, the land and the company, the beings that she is spending time with. You also asked whether she's okay with you only coming once a week, and she said it makes no difference. She recognizes that your remote connection is nourishing both of you, that the physical presence is kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, that's nice, but that's not something that she absolutely needs because she feels connected to you anyway. She also, one of your other questions around whether she would like to have a foal, I didn't get any indication either way. It was just a neutral, not a particularly, it wasn't a conversation topic that she really said, oh, yes, I've got a lot to say about this. It was just kind of, oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know, not really engaged in that. You also asked, is there anything that you wanted her to comment on around your work? And she immediately said co-worker, that you are co-workers. It's not your work alone, it's the two of you working together. So the other things, when she had the floor, moving away from the questions, she then showed an image of her transferring energy into you, lifting you up. And then, well, excuse me. She didn't say that. She showed an image of her transferring energy into you, lifting you up. So you were levitating. And she said, I speak through you. And then she took attention to your left foot and said, care for it. The next mind movie was a cobblestone path. And I was being taken down the path and given an experience of what it is for you to walk this path. And the experience was the feeling that you feel the life of the stones, you feel the energy imprints and showing the life that walked there before you, and that you feel accompanied by this and it supports you. And it was quite a long winding path in a more urban area, and it was as if the stones, you were able to access the energy and the information and wisdom of the stones of the people who've gone before you. The next image that she shared was of water being drawn up and dancing at your wish, like a Disney movie, where there is a conductor and the energy is dancing to the will of the person conducting it, and the conductor is you. And you were laughing with delight, but so was the water. It was a mutual dance between the two of you, moving this energy, this liquid energy around. The next set of images that Teazel shared, she certainly was very generous in how she shared, was showing that the earth was dark and there was a flash of being buried alive and not being able to breathe. The density of the soil was coming in around and stopping oxygen coming into your body. I don't know the relevance of this. She didn't show me whether this was your experience or whether this was an experience that she needed you to be aware of, but not so much at a personalized level. Then she took me to the trees and wanted to share that she shows that the trees rain golden energy down like pollen, and that's why it feels so good to stand under them. We are breathing this in, we are absorbing this through our skin, through every part of our energetic field. And trees are really, yes, they are giving us oxygen, but they're giving us more than just oxygen. They're giving us this beautiful energy exchange through their being and ours. She then said, don't limit yourself, but didn't give any more detail to this. It's really, I guess, an invitation to expand into all things that are drawing you, even if you may initially think, oh, I couldn't do that, or that's not really for me. But she wanted to say, don't limit yourself. She then showed you sculpting energy, scooping it up with your hands, and in a Tai Chi-like soft yet powerful and controlled movement, with as if you are seeing the air as a substance with a texture that you can feel, and you are drawing and shaping and moving this air texture. She then wanted to remind you that your body is your interface with life, and that felt like a call to respect and embrace the fullness and our bodies, which is quite ironic because she was saying she's not super interested in her body, but our bodies are this incredible sensing mechanism, and she wants you to realize that you need this body. So if you ever consider leaving your body for any reason, then you will lose much of that interface. She then showed a dot on your heart to show your center between the chambers, right where they meet, the in and the out balance point. She breathed into this dot, and this seemed to be pointing towards the name of your business, very much around balance, and that in the middle of your heart, that is the place of exchange where everything is in this perfect balance. So the 4 chambers where they meet. She then, I felt very teary on the next thing that she shared. She said that the pre-horses are not made for this world. They know too much and feel human pain, and it takes a lot of metabolizing that pain. It's almost as if the Iberian, the pre-breeds, are evolutionary slightly different from the non-pre-breeds, and that their connection with humanness and human experience is deeper and more intense and vivid than some of the breeds that may not have those bloodlines. And then she closed the session to say, I love. That is who she is, and that's how she bees. It's not an act, it's a sense of self. And she loves. That's how she lives. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with her. It's been an absolute joy and privilege. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful horse to share a life with. Take care. Bye.
Hi again. I'm back, and I've still got my compatriots here who are being very well behaved at the moment. My thought is out there of peace and tranquility. We'll see how far that goes. Anyway, so you should have listened now to the amazing, amazing things that this horse said to Suze. And I must admit, when I first heard them, it blew my brain in many different directions. So one of the first things Suze talked about was, as soon as she connected with Teazel, was that she didn't know what part she was looking at, because Teazel was this massive energy. And I mean, to me, that's it. That's what we are. We're energy. We're boundless. We extend beyond. We have no physical form as such in the energetic state. It's just when we're in the physicality that we see each other like this. So to me, that was really interesting, that was the first thing that she came through to Suze, and that she said, I know you know, which meant that she realised that Suze was quite au fait with the fact of the energy and the energetic existence and connection. So, and then later on, she says the same about me, about, Suze thought of me, and this one here went, yeah, she knows too, which I was quite pleased about. And she's been my teacher in that field, whatever. So then she said, she showed Suze where she was at that time, which I think Suze sort of described as this lovely rural pastoral scene. And I'll try and put a photo in here, and you'll see that was so spot on. And the thing is, Suze knew nothing about where I was, who I was. We'd only really just connected a couple of weeks before, so she knew nothing about where Teazel was or what was happening. So yeah, that was really interesting. And then Teazel showed her how everything is shimmering energy, everything is moving. And immediately I heard that, I remembered reading the book Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. And that's exactly the description that he gives in that. And I know that's a novel. I'm just going to turn it a little bit this way, because then we have an ear of a Teazel. But that's exactly how he describes everything, like the shimmering, beautiful energy, and the flowers, the beautiful colours, and everything is much more radiant than it is actually in the physicality. Hello, Eve, I love you. So then I found that really interesting, because that was out of nowhere. Why would she show that? Then Suze goes on to say, asked how she was and everything, and she got the impression that Teazel wasn't particularly interested in her physicality, that she was like, I'm an energetic being, why would I be interested in that? So, oh gosh, sorry, that's the same way again. So that was quite interesting, because I do get that impression sometimes, sorry, my camera's going weeble wobs, that she's very much about, physicality is a bit of a pain, but I'm here in the physicality, therefore I have to do. But my forte is the energetic and the connection. This one's forte is connection as well, yes. And she said she was very happy where she was, and she liked the energy, which was wonderful. And it's a beautiful place. It's amazing. And that whether I visited once a week or not at all didn't really matter, because our main connection was always energetic, and that we were connected always. So I feel that and I know that, but it was really lovely that I got that what's the word, confirmation from this beautiful horse. So then I asked, is there anything you'd like to say about my work? This actually made me laugh out loud, because her immediate reaction was co-workers, as much as say, get off your high horse, woman, it's not all about you, and you wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for me. So I totally accept that, and she is my co-worker because she teaches me so much. So it did make me laugh, but it's so true. So there was that, and then she spoke how she puts her energy into me and she speaks through me. I thought that was really interesting, because she came sort of to live here in April 2015, and it was in August 2015 that I had the first, what I've called download, Teazel's Tales, which are on my website. And so she sort of says that she speaks through me, and that's absolutely true. She gives me this information and then I can pass it on. So yeah, that to me again was amazing. And then the other bit was because of the journey she was on, the healing journey from 20 to 21, the end of 2020 to the beginning of 2021. She then, because I was trying to find answers to help her, that again, she was leading me to places. There was so much information came to me over about 3 or 4 months at that time, and a lot of it was to do with how to help her. And it's because of the amazing people that I have around me that I'm blessed to be able to reach out to and say, what does this mean? Can you help? That this horse is fixed. I mean, we're in a good place at the moment. What tomorrow brings. I'm staying in the moment. But she is in such a better place than she was before. And that was mainly thanks to so many people. Well, we're off to go and investigate. Then Sue said something about, be careful about my left foot. I'm not sure what that is. And I do wonder, however, whether it might have been Teazel's left foot, because that's been the problematic one. And when she came home, I'd taken her out for one ride, and she was sound and it was amazing. And then she went lame, and I thought I'd broken my horse again. But it was an abscess, which we think actually was there before. Thank you. And that just needed to come out. So that was, whether or not, I don't know, but I've taken on board that. And then she described about how I walk. She showed Suze like a cobbled road, and said when I walk down roads and stuff like that I pick the energy up. And it's always been something that's fascinated me, to put my hand on an old wall or a floor or something like that and think, my goodness, all of the energies that pass behind, if this could tell a tale. So there's that side of it, which I found really interesting, that came forward in the reading. But also, I firmly believe that everything has consciousness, from the earth to the rocks to the soil to the trees to the birds to everything has got consciousness. So again, that sort of ties in with that quite nicely. And then she showed Suze the dancing water, which I love that. And the fact, I was laughing. For me, that's about connection. That the water and I and everybody and everything and you and me, whatever, we're all connected. And it's about that dance, that joy, the connection. So, yeah, that's... And the thing was that when Suze first told me these readings, this is the stuff that came straight to me. It's not stuff I've sat and thought about. Had to think, I wonder what that means. Yeah, like the left foot, that was a bit, don't know. But it's almost immediately I get an idea of, oh, yeah, that's what that means. And there we are. And it sits right with me and I feel it in my body. And so that's where I go, with the interpretation of all of this. Then she talks about the earth dark and buried alive, which, again, it didn't put the fear of God in me and it didn't worry me. But this one has got a tale to tell as well, about, which I'll mention in a minute, and I'm not sure if it was connected to that, but I'll mention that in a minute. And then Sue said about how this one was showing that the trees rain energy down on us. I mean, what an amazing visual that is. I'm sure many of you, you know how powerful trees are. The intelligence of them, the energy of them, the peace you can get from being around them, the strength. So yeah, that was another sort of confirmation for me that what I felt was true and she was showing it to me. Then don't limit myself. Yeah, well, this one knows me too well, but I'm a good one for imposter syndrome, quite often going, oh, who am I to do this? And there are quite a few new ideas that I've got come through now, and I'm just going to step into them because you don't know unless you try. And I think that's what I've got to do. And again, she talked about sculpting energy, connection. When I work with, distance or in person, it is about the energy, the connection through the energy. And yeah, sculpting is one word you could use. I don't consciously do anything as such with the energy, but I'm in the energy. So yeah, we've got that. And then she talks about the body, and my body is the interface to this life and doing this work and sort of look after myself. And again, it's quite interesting. It's right. Evie's trying to eat my boots now. Because beginning of 2021, I took that decision that, okay, enough's enough now. Sort yourself out a bit. And that's what's been happening. And it's really kicked in this year in particular. So again, this was back in last August. So that was pretty spot on. And then, this bit got me, when Suze talked about the dot on my heart and how this one, yes, you, breathed into it. I mean, that would just finish me off. Because it is about the connection and the breath, it's sacred. And so, yeah, okay, we've got point of balance, but for me it was for me it was far more about the connection that we have together and that heartfelt connection. And then the very last bit was about pre-horses, how Suze made the comment, pre-horses might be different. And this is where Teazel's story comes into it, because when I first had her, I had my amazing body worker come out to give her a treatment. And Kat, the lady who comes out, she has done shamanic training, she's done healing. I mean, she communicates, she does so much. She's another one of my amazing people that have helped me. And to begin with, this one, Tease wouldn't let her touch her. It was really, what's going on? And then Kat just went really quiet and she listened. And she said she's showing me that Teazel believes part of her work here is to help heal the Iberian horses, in the sense that, yes, many breeds have been used, but the Iberians in particular are renowned for going into war, for bullfights, and their bravery has to stand up to what they're presented with, to save themselves and save the human. And she had not a very, nice vision of broken bodies and blood, and and I think the darkness that this one spoke about before, being buried alive and the dark earth and not being able to breathe, I believed as soon as I heard that she was relating to that part of her journey through this life and what her work is. So I don't know, but and it's interesting because I've met somebody else as well with a Lusitano. Teazel is a pre, and my friend's got a Lusitano who she rescued from Portugal, and I happened to be at her clinic and I mentioned this and she just stopped dead and went, oh my God, that's exactly what I've picked up from my mare as well. So who knows? But that's where I think all of the darkness and the, that Suze says about the prees take on board the human pain, and it takes a lot of energy to process it. And yeah, I think they've been put in that position so often, they ain't got much choice. And then the final thing was how Teazel says, I be love. And yeah, you can't really, there's nothing more to add to that. Teazel is love. So there she is, my beautiful girl. Good girl. So thank you for being there. I hope you were interested in this. It has blown my brain, and I'm very, very grateful for these wonderful people that I have around me that to help me sort out what's going on. And increase my knowledge. So until the next time, take care. Lots of love. Bye.